Hello out there in Streamland. It is Tuesday morning, so we are going to be getting ready for the D&D session I have on Wednesday nights. We're actually starting a new campaign, and we're going to be rolling up characters, which is always exciting. That's one of the fun things I like to do, start new characters. When it comes to things like Baldur's Gate or Diablo games, um, my mind's going blank. The most famous Skyrim, those type of games. I love making characters, and I play them up to level 3, 4, 5, and then start another one and see what that character build is like. Different races, different abilities, different classes. Sometimes same race, different class. Sometimes same class, different race. Just trying all these different things. Um, so I'll spend you know, 40 hours playing this game and never get past like the first chapter. It's just the way I am. I love it so much. A friend of mine is the exact opposite. He will build a character, and then whatever the first character he makes, he goes through the entire game with it. Um, and that's just not my style. But that has really nothing to do right now with D&D. If you were to do that, I have played with character people like that to take my version to the extreme, where every couple, every month or so, they want a new character, so they're making a new one. They don't like the one they have, whatever reason. I'm not talking about character deaths. I'm talking about characters working just fine and just out of the blue, oh, I want a new one. Um, that in a D&D real life session, I think is somewhat annoying. However, I also had a cursed ring that I gave to a player who did not roleplay at all, and so they were pretty much stuck in their little Game Boy. Tells you how long ago this was, um, all the time. And so I gave them they found a ring and they put on, and then every time they went to the combat, it was sort of like the Hulk. So when I rolled for initiative, I also rolled to see one of 6 characters that this character was going to be, his original character and 5 others. Um, in the attempt to try to force him to roleplay a little bit, it was interesting. I made it to where they were just alternate dimensions, alternate timelines, if you will. So everything up to that second was the same. It's just that in one dimension, one reality, he's a human warlock. In another one, he's a orc shaman. In another one, he's a dwarven fighter. There's all these different 6 different realities, and then as soon as the fight ended, he reverted back to his original with the memory of the fight, and was it went forward from there. So it was interesting to see what it was like. Pork chops, 1243. Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii. Thank you for stopping by. I was waxing a little philosophical there at the beginning. I'm in the middle of setting up a couple quick encounters. If you have questions about Unity or how that works and stuff, let me know. So the first thing I want to do is grab a couple. I want to get an outside and an inside, a city side map. So let's see if how this filter works. How you doing today, Mr. Pork Chops? I presume you're Mr. So you're building maps to play out. Looks like that's maybe what I have to do here. Depends on what I find. I'm not the best at map building yet. What I want is so basically they're making brand new characters, and so they're gonna be level 1. Oops, it would help if I spelled right. And then I'm just gonna have to do a quick little encounter, little mini encounter, so they can get the feel of the character and how it works, stuff like that. So I'm just looking for a couple different maps to use for that purpose. And I wanted to have one in the city and one in a forest. Well, this is very stereotypical, but all right. So first thing I want to do is set up the story. So I have not started this one yet. So go over here to edit groups, add a group. This is going to be the intro. I want it to be on top instead of at the bottom, so I'm going to put label it 001. Close this down. So that jumps it up to the top. Now I'm right click to make a new item. So now when I import this to campaign, pulls up the map. Close this. And then I can click. I'm going to go ahead and go here, enter. I can click and drag this into my story. All right, so let's see if it has the occluders in there for the line of sight. Yeah, so it looks like the city map I'm going to have to pull from somewhere else because I don't see anything off the top. We're doing a quick check. Go to the combat tracker. All right, so I have a couple people here. Let's see. First of all, go to the grid, turn on the grid. Let's see, that makes so we can change the color of the grid. I'm going to make it more of versus a green, I think a yellow would stand out pretty well. Yeah, I like the yellow. All right, so the width is about 10 feet wide for this path. I'm going to make it just a tiny bit smaller. Enter in here, it'll automatically, because they're linked, make them squares. I'm going to go to 40 just because There we go. So now the bridge is about 12 feet wide. That's a little better. Okay, not really that important. Like I said, it's just a quick one counter. Let's see if the occluders are in there. The line of sight stuff is in there. We go to play, click on enable line of sight, click on the character, and they are. Nice. So I don't have to do anything with this guy as he moves around. And he grouped all the trees together. The reason you do this is so that, say, right now, if you can, as you can see, he can't see beyond these trees. But if he climbs up into the tree, now he can see past them. But because he grouped them all together as one giant group, he can now see through this tree as well. Not the end of the world. Again, if it was something important, then I might fix that and make it to where each tree is its own individual thing like this. And this is individuals to block the line of sight, but it's not that important. All right, and this log is not tall enough to block line of sight, so that's good. Perfect, good. That means I don't have to mess with this. Right, left, delete, delete. So the map is ready to go. We will turn off line of sight so I can see what's going on. I might have it rain or snow. Let's see. Go to effects just because I like having effects. I think they're pretty cool. They added a new one, time of day, and they added clouds. So let's see if we have clouds. It can be like a foggy day. And then the speed, if it's fog, I'm going to slow it down. Almost. Whoa, why is it faster? Oh, interesting. That's the offset of the shadows. So how high are the clouds? Gotcha. And this is the depth of the shadows. This is how much shadows. Weird the speed isn't quite working well, but I don't want them that fast. There we go. Is it 50? I'm not sure. There we go, perfect. So you've got some fog and some mist, but it's moving very slowly. Perfect. All right, so we lock this up. Shrink it a bit. All right, and so we want to find an NPC. I agree, Pork Chops. This is really cool software. It's Fantasy Grounds Unity, Fantasy Grounds Classic is really good. That's what we've been using for the last 2.5, 3 years, maybe even a little bit more than that. Great stuff. Unity now adds what we were just messing with, the occluders, where you can't see behind stuff, line of sight. Also, the clouds and things. They added that to it. Of course, and a lot of other changes, the sound of the dice you can hear now when you roll dice, things like that. But you should do a TPK for the first session. Yes, just to show them who's boss. That would definitely blow their mind because I am a very nice DM, especially the first major campaign that we've been playing for the last couple years. I made it very soft and sort of somewhat easy for them, so it would blow their mind if I just killed them all in the first fight. So we're going to put these down to I'll start with 1/4. No, I'll let him kill a couple things. We'll go to 1/8. And just take a look and see what's going on. See what's. I have a couple crazed hunters. I like that idea of crazed hunter. Boy, nothing from. Do I even have the monster manual? Let's see what assets I have loaded. So I have Out of the Abyss. I have Rise of the Drow. Oh, that's why half my modules aren't loaded. I was wondering why there was so few to choose from. All right, so search by name. How many players do you have? So for this group that I'm talking about right now has 5 players. They're going to start off in different areas, so there's going to be maybe 2 or anywhere between 1 and 3 in these encounters. And then what I'm going to do is actually start with one group, have them see the encounter and roll for initiative. Jump to the other group, have them role play until they hit their encounter, roll for initiative, and then so they'll all be in the combat tracker at the same time. We'll be just switching back and forth between the 2 maps. So it should be fun. Do it that way. Loading monster manual. So the nice thing about this Fantasy Grounds is that it's similar to D&D Beyond, or if you're playing for real in real life at tabletop, somebody has to buy the. Is this software something that could be helpful for in-person sessions? Yeah. So as I was saying, somebody has to buy the books, but the Dungeon Master, as long as the Dungeon Master has the books and the license for the software, the players are free. They can have the demo version and just log in. And I use this for my in-game, my real game. I've done it a couple different ways. I've had it out on a laptop, and so I would control the monsters and everything because it rolls for you and does everything right there. Um, and we were using maps, but I've also had it where a couple people had their own laptops, so we were all logged in, and we use it, put it onto the um, giant, the big screen TV for the map, and so it was, and that worked really well. So yes, I do use this in real life and in. I've gotten so used to having this, to having everything right here at my fingertips, being able, to incorporate it all, and that way I don't forget. Oh, this person has advantage. This person had this weird feat that gives him a plus to his armor class. This, in this one, if you're facing to the right and it's a full moon, then you get a +2. This is all incorporated into it, so it makes it really nice. And I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so those are my monsters. All right, so it's going to be a little overwhelming here for a second. I want the alien bestiary, absolutely. What? I don't even have the Dungeon Master's Guide loaded? Okay. And if you're wondering what the green check marks are for, if it has a green check mark next to it, that means the players can then access it. Why don't you just remember every minute detail about the characters? Exactly. Why don't I? I'm just I'm just lazy that way, I guess. uh, I also use this for Starfinder. So tomorrow I'll be messing around with Starfinder. Um, and Starfinder is so much worse than 5e when it comes to all the little minute things that happen. Um, so yeah, so like for example, the Dungeon Master's Guide, the players cannot look at that. Um, but there is the Dungeon Master's Guide players version that they can. Um, so it's pretty cool. All right, so I have a lot of different stuff that I've gathered over the years. Mordenkainen and Tome of Foes. Let me load that. We are starting on a Sword Coast. I don't even have the player's handbook. Wow, I was like I said, this is a brand new campaign. We're just starting this week, so it takes me just a couple minutes. I think I'm going to be done with after these 2 books. And I'll have enough to at least finish my encounters. So are you in any Dungeons and Dragons games right now, Pork Chops? So you can see this has now added quite a few more to choose from. The Exvarch, those are little dudes running around. And the old Baldur's Gate, I like that idea a lot because I like the old Baldur's Gate. There them is in all their glory. He is not. I'm trying to start one up with my friends. We had created characters, but then COVID happened and just got sidetracked. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways people have done D&D, found ways to play, despite the wonderfulness going on right now. Um, a lot of people just use Discord. You can use Discord. I don't know if you're familiar with that software. It's free. You can use, there's voice, but there's also video now. And so you can have a camera on the map. I've seen people set up, the DM has the camera on the map, and then people, if you trust your characters to roll well, there's also software like this. This is Fantasy Grounds Unity. There's Fantasy Grounds Classic, and there's also Roll20 is another big one. Honestly, personally, Roll20 just seems to be a lot more complicated, especially from the player side. Uh, whereas Fantasy Grounds, there's always going to be a learning curve, um, and both of them have a lot of videos and a lot of things on there. The other biggest thing is that with Fantasy Grounds, only the dungeon master has to buy it, and they have they do have a monthly subscription or a lifetime subscription. So I paid at the time 3 years ago, 4 years ago, was I got it on sale for like 120. It's like normally 140, something like around that price range, and then I never had to pay again. And so if your group gets together, you guys could pool together and say, hey, everybody will give me $10, and then I'll cover the rest for the dungeon master. Um, and you don't have to actually buy anything because it comes with the basics. So the SRD for Dungeons and Dragons, and there's tons of different things. So if you like Vampire the Masquerade, or if you're into Savage Worlds or Starfinder, Pathfinder 2e, and there's also all the different Dungeons and Dragons. So from first edition, second edition, third. Um, Actually, I don't think there's a 3. There's a 3.5, fourth edition, all those things. So it's pretty cool. It comes with the SRD, so the stuff that you can get for free on if you go, or same thing with D&D Beyond. So if you go to D&D Beyond and just the basics, so you have like five races, 5 classes, the how-tos, stuff like that. So it comes with the bare basics. So um, but it's nice. So if you're looking around different things, like I said, after that one initial purchase, I used it for like a month. It's like $3.99 a month if you don't pay for the lifetime thing. And then I bought it. Um, I think I got a tax return or something. Anyway, and then there was a little bit of a bump again when Unity came out because it's a whole new, it's a different platform, but it's a tremendous asset. I use it pretty much. I just playing games because I play and I'm a player. I mean, I'm a dungeon master, game master, whatever. I play 3, 6, without doing a lot of math, about 15 hours a week. I use it to actual live play. Um, and besides my wife, who is in the same house with me, none of the other players or dungeon masters are in the same house with me. And then I'm on it probably double, at least double that, as I'm messing around, uh, building, preparing. Maybe not double that, but still another 5 to 6 hours a week. I'm on it using it, so I love it. Never looked back. Um, a lot of people like Roll20. Like I said, I just don't. Uh, Before Unity, there was a huge difference. Fantasy Grounds Classic doesn't have the line of sight, and it's a little bit simpler for the Dungeon Master to use. For the players, Unity and Classic is virtually the same mechanically, um, but so Roll20 had more bells and whistles, but even before Unity, the Roll20 just seems very very clunky and very difficult to use. Lots of steps to do things, whereas with this, it's not that difficult. Um, anyway, let me get back to this. If you have any particular questions, feel free to absolutely give me a call, and I can share this with my players or not. I can share it with one individual player. So if somebody comes around the corner and sees it, I can say, this is what you see. No one else knows what's going on. So it makes it nice. All right, so little Exvarts are little dudes. They run around. They have a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. They don't really have any weaknesses, so that's good. It's not like the Drow where they have sunlight sensitivity. So yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to make a new encounter. So again, I'm going to add the category. This has all categories. So if I just want to pull things from um, Volo's guide, this is just the encounters in Volo's guide. So what I'm doing is I'm making a new one, a new category for my Wednesday night group, and I like to keep things consistent. So I'm going to use the same name as I did for my story. 001 intro. So it's up top, so it's empty. There are no encounters in here. So we're going to make an encounter. So this is going to be Killer Smurfs. We'll add 2 of them in there. So in my story, we're going to put this as On the Way to Adventure. These are titles and things that are just for the Dungeon Master, so players don't see it, but I like to keep them interesting. All right, so the Killer Smurfs. And I can change this on the fly. I'm going to put 4. And if I click this, it now tells me that's a 1/2 CR worth 100 experience. Again, this is just a quick down and dirty. I don't expect them to last very long. By adding 4 of them, it makes it a little bit more of a challenge. And if there's only one character, I'll probably drop that in half, and I can do that on the fly. So that makes it easy. We're going to open up my image, and I can take this and I can just drop it right onto the map. So now, oops, so now it is linked. So I can just, if I close out the actual encounter, what in the world? Why isn't this full screen? That's weird. It's annoying. Okay, anyway, click this and now it opens up the encounter for me. I can also link the storyline. So if I wanted to put this in here, and of course I put this here. I tell myself this is the encounter. So it makes it nice. I have access to everything. So as people are talking, we're going on, role playing and stuff, I'm like, oh, I gotta grab this encounter. Where is it? And then the other thing I'm doing is, let's see. So when I share this map to the players, I can have the identified or unidentified. So it could be like Lair of the Beholder. Well, I don't want them to know it's a beholder as soon as they walk in. I have to go, but thank you for showing me this. All right. Talk to you later, pork chops. I'm here every week, so, and also on YouTube. So if it says like Lair of the Beholder, you don't want the characters knowing what that is. So you can click on this, and if you don't say anything, it just says unidentified map. So I like it to where it says something. So I'm just going to have a, just going to put Acme Forest Trail, and then make it not identified. All right, and then also drop it down here into one of the links. Then we open this up and we go, where do we want them to be? So I'm going to make this random. So I'm going to start at the center point and go with an 8-sider all around it. I'm actually going to go ahead and draw a square. If you left click it, it picks it up. You can then right click and add more. Since I have 4 Xvarts, we're doing 4. 8155. So starting with this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to do a 12-sider. Now we're going to do 3d4 because I want them to be at least a little bit of ways. See how far away they are. And now I can take this, drop it down here, 2, 3, 4. Right click and clear the slot. All right, so the first one, so we're going to zoom in just a bit on the map. He's 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he is out over behind the tree. Next one is 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so 9 above. So we're going to throw him here, hiding in this bush. And the other two are 8 and 8. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these guys are both in the bushes right here. Get rid of this. Right click pointers, remove it. All right, so now we have our Exvarts. And if we wanted to, we could see. What can you see? So he's in the tree, so he can see quite a bit. He cannot see behind this tree. So if they're looking to ambush people, yeah, so he's considered in the tree. So that's fine. All right, cool. Turn off. So now we will close this, which makes them disappear off the map. And then when we are ready to run this, we'll zoom back out a little bit. So I'll probably start sharing the map like this, because I'll be coming over the bridge, cruising. Well, maybe wait till they're actually attacked and show it like here. So there we go. What you do is, if you go to click open the counter, and all you do is just click the down arrow, boom, it adds them to the combat tracker, rolls initiative for them automatically, puts them on the map, and they are automatically hidden. So that's all done for you. I'm going to go menu, delete from tracker. I'm going to change him to not a foe. Okay, delete all foes. So puts him back as a non-foe. All right. I'm going to turn off line of sight. I want to be able to see what I'm doing. All right. So closing this guy. So that is our first encounter. We are done and ready to go. Open up our story again. Close this down. I'm going to put the story down here, so I can open it from anywhere now. All right, going to make a quick little blurb. I'm going to make it spring. It's a brisk spring morning. So it's a brisk spring morning. The morning fog. The fog hangs heavy in the air as the rising sun rising sun slowly begins to burn it away. You just crossed a stone bridge, and our if I can spell, continuing down the road through a light forest. Now you just hit Control 3. So now with a simple click of the button, click, I can then share it to the rest of the group. All right, and so now this first encounter is ready to go. So this, when you're on a link of any kind and you hit enter, it makes a second link ready to go. So Control 1 changes that from a link to the regular story. All right, so next, let's see. Sturges are always fun. A Neogi Hashling, I don't know what that is. Oh, these things, yeah. Aberrations. A monodrone. It's a construct, okay. How could have a couple mastiffs come charging toward them? How about a couple giant weasels? What, this is a CR8? Yeah. Flying snakes. Here we go, disease giant rat. All right, so we're going to make another encounter. All right, we're going to have a disease giant rat. And then we're going to have three regular giant rats. We add this in here. Boom. Label it as the encounter. All right, so this was the city one. So I want to image, see what I have. I don't have anything named city. Let's see if I have anything labeled village. Okay, these were all not anything I want. Let's see if there's anything called street. Here we go. I like it. So the first thing we can do is go ahead and add this. First of all, we're going to change the name to The Streets, just to be funny. Here we go. Boom, image. Oh, wait a minute. All right, so now I'm actually going to see if I can move it up. I cannot. It's all right, folks. I'll figure this stuff out eventually here. There we go. So I've got my map. I've got my encounter. Pull my encounter onto the map. Boom. So my people love animals. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have in the encounter, we're going to have a dog being attacked by these rats. All right, so there's a mastiff being attacked by these rats. Let's see if the line of sight has been set for this. All right, so it has. Makes it really nice. I don't have to worry about line of sight for this map. But it looks like I do need to worry about the grid. So what's going on with the grid there, my friend? Okay, so these are 10-foot grids, and each one is divided in half. All right, so since we cannot see the grid, we're going to change the color to, let's see, how about a red, green, yellow, blue. That's a little better. Blue. How about black? Okay, so unfortunately, this is as dark as it gets. Yeah, we can make it darker, lighter, but see what happens when we zoom in a little bit. Would the yellow be better? All right, so if we're not on the street, the yellow is better. I guess we'll just go with black, that's fine. All right, the grid is a smidge off. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at this map, shall we? Where do we want this to happen? There's a lot of debris all over this map. So we're gonna say, so that looks like it's a tavern or a church, temple maybe, with all those chairs and stuff in the first map. And then that looks like a meeting room barracks of some kind, perhaps. A house. All right, and that's a well. Okay, deep subject for a shallow mine, I know. So I'm going to have them have this be like a rundown house, and everything's going to start here. They're going to come out and run around the corner and chase the dog. The group will be over here. See it happen. All right, so let's do this. Close this down. Bring up the encounter, please. So we're going to zoom in since they're all starting here. So we're going to do four-sider for how close to the door they are for the rats. One, 4, 3, 4. Okay. So he's right at the door. He is first. 4, 3, and 4. All right, so we have our rats placed. We will put our mastiff here. Bursting out of the door. All right, so the street is relatively quiet. Sounds of singing come from the temple at the end of the street. Several of the houses have lights shining through the windows. A flute can be heard. Actually, let's see. An upbeat tune being hopefully that one of my hotkeys got pressed, obviously. I don't know how long it's been there. Try to edit. If it's been too long, I'll just edit this out. But I do this again next week, Tuesday, 10:30. Wednesday, tomorrow, on Wednesdays at 10:30 Pacific time, I do Starfinder. Similar thing with Starfinder, using Fantasy Grounds Unity. We also play Starfinder Sunday nights at 5:30 Pacific, and Thursday afternoons at 2. I mess around with Magic the Gathering, so the arena. So if you want to watch me play that, you're welcome to join me. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions, stop by or comment. Leave a comment, and I'll be glad to. I will respond. Thank you so much, and whatever else you do, please enjoy the rest of your day.